the culmination of 3 and sometimes more years of serious creative devotion in the MFA program. And with that, it is my great and awesome honor and pleasure to welcome the MFA class of 2024.
I could devour the whole of a Honda Odyssey's engine without flinching. So I do, and I am no longer on fire. I am the blaze.
But after she walked in, he bounced over to her, grinning stupidly, with his gaze fluttering over her cleavage. She returned his eager smile as she flicked her eyes from the menu to his face. And I made a mental note to practice that move the next time Bode remembered to take me on a date.
Valerie stumped me. I had no idea how to answer her very simple question. I stared down at my sweater. Polyester, maybe? I guessed. I mean, Clifton's idea of what we crave being one's own lush self, this thing we find rescued from the rib of others. Maybe it's not just them. Maybe it's me and all my intrigue, the carefully curated self designed to shimmer even in dim light, the fullness of the stomach and arms and legs, the measure of all the soft places to land.
Mary Bart showed her wearing a second place banner with the words Annual Winter Pinecone Pageant. Violet, is dinner ready? Her mother walked in, cane in hand, and a little wobbly on her feet from being groggy. Violet turned around, tears spilling from her eyes. She couldn't tell if it was anger or sadness that spurred on her emotions.
Ghostly voices floated through the air. They had ever since Yankel arrived at the hospital yesterday. Or was it a month ago? Time was now a jumbled box of tiny wheels, gears, cogs, and screws, impossible for him to sort. Hard to believe that he, who could repair any wind-up watch or weighted cuckoo clock, could no longer discern a minute from an hour. He only knew he was at some Jewish-sounding hospital in downtown Manhattan, waiting to get a heart transplant from a pig, not a human.
Guess this dork remembers when I scored the bag boy job, and he didn't. Hell yeah! Raking in the dinero. Should be the general manager before I know it. You? I'm in Chicagoland. Moved out there after I got my chemical engineering degree at Iowa State. My wife's expecting our first, a boy due next month. Well, la-di-da. Married, father, chemical engineer, can fight me.
The shed door flew open. It was Roderick's sister, Madeline, from The Fall of the House of Usher. I've directed that show twice. My God, I did not want her as my muse. Her shredded white dress was covered in blood, and when she saw me, she didn't seem too glad or friendly or like she had any hankering desire to offer plot points or sing.
This was death, not the naked skeleton preferred by Eastern European depictions, nor one of the world's many psychopomps, but the traditional shroud and scythe-bearing harbinger common from medieval morality plays in modern day. When it spoke, the voice carried whispers of oblivion. Hi, it said, waving a chipper hand in greeting. So I've never done this before. Is there some menu you'd recommend? Don't kill me! Millie screamed, yanked a poorly maintained bread knife off the table near the toasting oven and pointed squarely at Death's face.
What should I make? He turned his phone's flashlight on and inspected the pantry. I don't know, something, anything. What about the stuff in the fridge and freezer, he asked. I sighed. Just use your best judgment. If it's still cold and frozen, it's fine. Do we have buns? Oh, for crying out loud. Do you see any buns? If you see buns, then we have buns. If you don't see any buns, we don't have any buns. It's not hard, I screamed.
It's always at least a 72-hour stay, whether committed or voluntary. So I learned to bewitch them into believing I was sane by day 3, even if the drugs moved my brain mania insane. One spell to settle me while surrounded by triggers, another to make the shitty hospital rice taste like lobster risotto from Gordon Ramsay.
She still wasn't used to the idea of Grandpa being dead. Most of the time she drove with eyes glazed and far away. Every once in a while, though, her head jerked to the passenger seat and the rearview mirror and then back behind her to make sure that Janie and Sylvia were still there, like she was afraid that they would descend into a vapor.
At school, they practice blackout drills, killing the lights, pressing their fledgling backs against the walls. When she asks why, I don't say Sandy Hook, Uvalde, Columbine. Instead, the tired parrot in my throat repeats, "To keep you safe," the only song that has been taught